Breaking news to bring you now in reaction to the incident at Montfort University in Leicester. This is from Leicestershire Police, a full statement saying that a murder investigation is underway after a man is believed to have been stabbed close to Leicester city centre. Police called just after 5 p.m. on Tuesday following a report that a man had collapsed in Oxford Street close to the junction with Bonners Lane. While officers were en route to the scene, it was reported the man, who's in his 20s, had been stabbed. East Midlands Ambulance Service also attended and the man was taken to Leicester Royal Infirmary. He died a short time later. Detectives from the East Midlands Special Operations Unit Major Crime Team have worked overnight to establish the full circumstances, and an 18-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is currently in police custody. Investigations ongoing, including reviews of CCTV and interviews of those who were in the area at the time. There is also an appeal for anyone with information on mobile phone or dashcam footage to come forward. From inquiries carried out so far, Leicestershire Police say it's believed the victim was involved in an altercation with another man in the street. The man left the scene prior to police arriving. The scene you currently see in front of you is to preserve any evidence in place as it's examined by forensic and search specialists. And I can bring you a direct quote from Detective Inspector Lorna Granville, Senior Investigating Officer, saying, "We're currently piecing together exactly what has occurred on the corner of Oxford Street and Bonners Lane. What is reported, 2 men involved in a confrontation. One of the men is believed to have been stabbed and has then collapsed in the street. Despite the best efforts of medical staff, he died in hospital. CCTV in the area is currently being reviewed and officers are speaking to potential witnesses to assist the investigation. We know a lot of people came to the aid of the victim before emergency services arrived. We want to thank them for their help. If you were one of those people and haven't spoken to police, please make contact. The incident happened at 5 p.m. We know the area was busy with motorists. If you saw anything or captured footage on dashcams as you drove past the area, we'd like to hear from you. I appreciate the incident's caused major disruption with a number of roads closed. We're working to reduce the impact as soon as we can. Local officers will be in the area over the coming days carrying out reassurance patrols. If anyone has any concerns, please speak to an officer." So that lengthy statement from Leicestershire Police confirming that one man in his 20s has died after being stabbed. He died after being taken to Leicester Royal Infirmary, also confirming that an 18-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is currently in police custody. There was circa a 17-hour delay between those first calls to the emergency services and this statement online. It did lead to some speculation online, and Leicestershire Police responding to some of that speculation online, saying that there had not been a mass stabbing, there had not been a triple stabbing, as some people were speculating, confirming that one individual was affected, what's being reported as a man in his 20s, who was being in an altercation, as it's being described by officers, with another man in the street. And that other man, we would assume, is the 18-year-old who has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is currently in police custody. From the inquiries carried out so far, Leicestershire Police say it's believed the victim was involved in an altercation with another man in the street. That man left the scene prior to police arriving. And they say that the current scene and the current road closures in force are to retain the evidence so that it can be examined by forensic and search specialists. Earlier this hour, we spoke to Graham Wetton, our police and crime commentator. Graham, this further statement follows on from the details provided by East Midlands Ambulance Service, and we now know one person has died and one person arrested on suspicion of murder.
They've actually updated the incident itself with a lengthy statement detailing what's happened. One male victim stabbed last night, one suspect arrested, large cordon put in place. Appeal for anybody with any mobile phone footage or dashcam footage who was in the area at the time last night, around 6 p.m, maybe an hour before, an hour after, because people tend to come into the area and leave, etc. So an appeal going out for any witnesses who may have seen anything suspicious last night in Leicester City Centre by De Montfort, to send those details into Leicester Police. But it's a much-needed clarification. No idea why it's taken this long. If you're watching social media, you could see there was some speculation in the Leicester area about the cordon that was in place. If you put a police cordon of that extent in any city area, you are going to attract attention. Then you're going to attract, in this day and age, speculation, concerns on social media, people asking questions, the silence that's happened, even if it took until, I don't know, 8 o'clock this morning to come in and finally clarify what's happened, that period between like this morning and 11 o'clock when we first spoke at the top of the hour, I can't understand why nobody's put any sort of like holding statement out in the time. I understand the detectives have been working overnight, and they would have been called in, they'd have been brought into work to start working through the night on the murder investigation. But there needs to be some, in my view, there should have been some sort of statement put out, because we're now talking about, sad as it is, sadly, this is not an unusual occurrence. A stabbing in the city centre where there's a male victim is not an unusual occurrence in the UK in this day and age, but there's been unnecessary speculation on the number of victims, the area, the extent, etc. It seems to cause some alarm and distress in the local area, and it's unnecessary in my view.
Yes, and we saw those 2 responses they had made to other accounts on X, discouraging further speculation, also correcting some of the false statements that were being put out there. You mentioned earlier, it was in that statement from Leicestershire Police, the call for dashcam footage and for any witnesses to come forward. In an incident like this, and you describe it, unfortunately, as not all too uncommon for a city centre, but for an incident such as this, how important is that kind of third-party witness testimony and also potentially that video evidence as well?
Yeah, it's really important on cases like this. There's no surprise it's in their statement that's finally come out that they're actually asking the public for now that their help. Part of the investigation will be to try and establish exactly what's happened. We know what the result is now, sadly, that someone's lost their life, they've been stabbed in the street. But what the police investigators need to do is build up the whole picture. How the victim became to be in the area, how the suspect became to be in the area, the interaction they may or may not have had, what's led up to this incident taking place. That will come from a lot of the witnesses in the area that may have seen either mobile phone footage, dash cam, etc. People that have seen an interaction between 2 individuals. That's why the appeal's gone out, because that helps the investigators build the complete picture of what's happened, how the suspect and victim became to be in the same area, at the same place at the same time, and how this unfortunate incident then escalated into the sad outcome we've now seen. But that's key for the investigators to put this appeal out and ask for the public's help in building the entire picture so they can gather all the evidence when they begin to speak to the suspects and interview them.
And what will the next few hours look like? At some point, this cordon will be removed, but I guess it can remain for an indefinite period.
Cordon will stay in place while the forensic investigators will take their time. They'll be very slow and methodical in working their way through it. Some of that will come from accounts from people that were at the scene at the time as to where the victim came from, where the suspect entered the area and then left the area, because they would have to trace the exit route that the suspect took in case they discarded any potential evidence as they left the scene. That might be why such a large cordon is in place, because the information they've initially received indicates the suspect, as he left the area, took a specific route to leave the area. So I'd have to comb the whole area. So it could stay in place for some time while that search takes place. But it will remain in place until they can release the areas that they can. And they'll work their way methodically through it, looking for any evidence. And again, as we've seen, asking for any help from the public to give them more clues as to where maybe the suspect left and went to. And they will search those as they get that information come in.
Graham Wetton, good to have you with us. Thank you. And just a reminder, in the last 10 minutes, it's been confirmed that a man has died following an altercation and a stabbing near Montfort University. A man has been arrested as a result of that incident on suspicion of murder. An 18-year-old man arrested on suspicion of murder remains in police custody. A man in his 20s died after that altercation, as is being described by police, and died after being taken to hospital. More details to come on the Sky News website and the Sky News app.